What is up, everybody? Glad to be back with you. Today is a huge day in the crypto market. So if you haven't heard the news, the breaking news today was, first of all, Alex Mashinsky was arrested, and then we had the XRP verdict. So I've been talking about a possible catalyst now for quite a while for the crypto market. One of them could have been the XRP verdict. One could be the end of the Russian war in Ukraine. We could have, numerous other catalysts that could come about, an end to the various lawsuits that have been brought by the SEC. But right now, today, we had the XRP verdict announced. So I'm going to go straight to the head here of Ripple's chief legal officer. All right, chief legal officer for Ripple. And he says, a huge win today. As a matter of law, XRP is not a security. Also, as a matter of law, sales on exchanges are not securities. Sales by executives are not securities. Other XRP distributions to developers, to charities, to employees are not securities. Now, the only thing that the court did find, this is the interesting part of the verdict, this is the splitting of the baby, if you will, is that the court found what constitutes an investment contract is past direct XRP sales to institutional clients. There will be further court proceedings only on these institutional sales per the court's order. So what he's talking about there is the VC, the venture capital investment. This is those private funding rounds at the very beginning, the initial coin offering that the public can't get to through an exchange, but is done privately. They're saying that does constitute a security contract. However, the sale of a digital token on an exchange does not. Right? I mean, this is like a drop the mic moment for the entire crypto market. So what this means, the repercussions of this are absolutely massive. So you look at all the different lawsuits that the SEC has filed lately, and this puts a huge damper in all of them. Because with the numerous lawsuits that they've filed against various exchanges, the Coinbase one being one of the largest ones, they have accused them of selling unregistered securities. Well, this actually says that anything sold on the exchange is a digital token, is not a investment contract. So massive ruling today. So I think this could be the catalyst that kicks off the next bull market. This could be the big thing that kind of moves us all the way to halving. I mean, this is just a monster deal that we've been looking for clarity for so long, and we've never gotten it. Finally, a little bit of clarity from the legal side, the legal branch, right? So anyhow, amazing. Now from that, okay, now Gary was caught on camera talking to Elizabeth Warren, and there was a hot mic. So check this out. Here's what was said. Here's how she said it. Now, the president has personally assured me that the XRP verdict means nothing, and that we, but not necessarily us, still have the utmost faith in you to grossly abuse your post. However, a transition plan has been initiated for you to become Hunter's new accountant. So I heard there's an opening for an accountant for Hunter Biden. Now, I'm going to preface this a little bit by just saying that's a joke, okay? So just a joke here, but thought that was really funny. Now, moving on from there, if you don't know who Alex Mashinsky is, here is Alex Mashinsky. So he used to do, back when Celsius was hopping, he would do weekly calls all the time. All the time. He, his wife, they were always on these weekly calls. I think that's two of them right there. Constantly talking, unbank yourself, constantly promoting Celsius and how it's basically like this crypto bank and you can take loans and all this stuff and you can make returns on it, yada, 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 right? And it turned out that, unfortunately, Celsius, kind of like Voyager, but not really in an illegal sense. Celsius was more towards fraud, or at least that's what they're being alleged occurred here. Had a massive hole in their balance sheet, right? Massive hole. And so because of that, they had to file for bankruptcy, just like Voyager when the Three Arrows Capital went down. And essentially all the money that they leveraged out all over the place that was supposed to generate the big returns was suddenly gone. Now there's a huge hole in the balance sheet, right? So Mashinsky all along has tried to figure out a way to salvage Celsius. I mean, Celsius was like his entire life, kind of like really it's a lot like FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, same thing, where you had this guy that was kind of out there all the time, everywhere, is like the next savior. You know, I mean, look at him here with a little microphone, you know, talking to everybody. Everybody's just gobbling up what he's saying, yada, yada, yada. And he was really just promoting this platform all over. And then in reality, there's a lot of shady kind of practices that were happening in the background that basically lead to this huge fraud and this eventual collapse, right? And so now is the fallout of the bankruptcy proceedings. It's the fallout of him being arrested today in New York on charges. Let me go ahead and go to a post that shares this. This was a post by CoffeeZilla. So it says here, Celsius founder and former chief revenue officer charged in the connection with multi-billion-dollar fraud and market manipulation schemes. So Alex Mashinsky, founder and the former chief executive officer of Celsius, charged with defrauding Celsius customers, and Mashinsky and Roni Cohen-Pavon, former Celsius chief revenue officer, charged with manipulating the market for Celsius crypto token. Not good, right? Now, moving forward from there, here are the charges here for Mashinsky, right? So he's based in Manhattan. So we've got securities fraud, up to 20-year sentence. Commodities fraud, 10-year sentence. Wire fraud, 20 years. Conspiracy to commit securities fraud, market manipulation, wire fraud, 5 years. More securities fraud, right? Market manipulation, count 6. Wire fraud, 20 years. I mean, he is facing like a massive amount of trouble here. Massive amount of trouble. And so this was just a absolutely huge story. Another just colossal fall from grace for another, what used to be like a heavyweight in the crypto world. Now, you know, going back in time, I used Celsius. I used Voyager also. Somehow with Celsius, kind of right before this thing went under, I started to get like just a bad vibe with them. I don't know what it was. And it was maybe even just a few weeks before all this happened. I thought, you know, I need to just move out whatever I got in there. I didn't have a lot in there. But I moved it away from there, right? Now, where I didn't get so lucky was with Voyager, because I kept trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, even though there were some red flags there. I kept thinking, no, you know, they're going to push through this. They got Gronk, you know, they're sponsoring NCAA games. They got a NASCAR. Surely they can't be as over leveraged. And lo and behold, you know, that whole thing went down in flames. So luckily, the bulk of all my crypto was not on either one of these. But I really do feel bad for anybody who got stuck with this, because it's the exact same process as what I recently went through with Voyager, where you know, you get a fraction of what your holdings were and a fraction of that, right? It's like fractioned, you know, down to like 1/8 of what your original holding was. Great, thanks a lot. And I'm sure they're going to be doing the same thing here. So this is pretty crappy. So it's kind of a weird feeling, I think, for a lot of people involved in Celsius. That it's like, on the one hand, you're glad that Mashinsky is being charged, but on the other hand, it doesn't really feel good, right? You know, it's kind of like watching, you know, a criminal get sentenced. It's like, yeah, they're getting sentenced, but they still did the crime that impacted you. So that sucks. But overall, so huge week. We had first the 3% CPI number that came in lower than expected. Originally, they expected it to be 3.1. It came in at 3.0. That was really big, bit of a catalyst there. Then today, the big news being the XRP verdict. I mean, that is just so huge. You know, I can think of, I mean, the lawsuit against Coinbase, the lawsuit against Binance, the lawsuit against, I think OKX had one. I don't know if that one got resolved. New York State has one against KuCoin, right? I mean, all these various lawsuits that are out there for unregistered securities, this really shakes that up. Now, by no means are we out of the woods yet in terms of this whole security debate or legal clarity. There still needs to be actual laws and actual framework potentially even an organization that oversees it, right? I mean, this isn't like rocket science. We don't have to keep pounding the square peg into the round hole. So it is possible there could be a lot more to come on this topic. But for now, what this does finally is end some of this up in the air speculation. It allows the market to finally operate without this distraction, this massive distraction of, is it a security, is it not a security? Well, basically what the court said is, you know, if the creator of the project had like an ICO and it was funded by venture capital without the public getting access, then technically that would be like a securities contract, okay? However, if they never did that, then there is no security here. And when the digital token is sold on the exchange, there is no security that's being transacted, which also then has an implication that Gary, who is over the Securities and Exchange Commission, has no jurisdiction to weigh in on this whatsoever. So, you know, the big irony in this entire thing, this is the fate loves irony, and I posted about this earlier, is that none of this would have happened if it weren't for Gary willy-nilly filing all these, you know, lawsuits all over the place alleging securities fraud. So, you know, later, you know, I have this thought in the back of my head that later when you know, however many years later from now, Gary's going to have some sort of tell-all book, and he's going to say this was his plan all along, that he knew if they filed this amount of lawsuits, eventually they'd get clarity, and that no one knew that that's what he was trying to do, right? I'm sure that'll come out next. But in the meantime, I do know he's got a potential career as a hunter's accountant. I've seen lots and lots of memes of Gary the Clown. I've seen lots of memes of Gary the Snail. So there are opportunities out there for Gary. It's not all a wash here. And at the moment, he is still at his post, even though now it's gotten embarrassingly obvious that he is clearly probably not the guy to run the SEC moving forward. So where it leaves us, huge day in the world of crypto. Finally, a good day, right? I mean, we've all had so many bad days, I think, in this crazy last couple of years that it's like, are we ever going to have a good day? Even when we have a good day, it's like, I don't know if I believe it. You know, I mean, it's been that bad in the market, and it really just kind of seems like we may be turning a corner here all of a sudden, and you know, things might really start taking off. And so this is absolutely huge. It's going to have some massive ramifications. It's got some massive FOMO. Everybody who hasn't been investing is suddenly going to be like, oh, shoot, I need to get in on that. There's going to be a lot of FOMO going on. This is going to go straight into the next halving. I mean, this is crazy. It has implications on the various ETFs that they're trying to start. It has implications on how you start a project off the ground, how VC capital is applied now. Is it applied just through the regular market on exchange? I mean, just some crazy things can come out of this. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens. But the bottom line is we just had a huge, huge day. I had to do a quick post on this to kind of go over it with y'all to let you know, basically, you know, the XRP verdict is the big thing here. Mashinsky is a side thing. 3% CPI, that's better, right? But the XRP verdict, and let me just say also to everybody out there in the XRP community that weathered this storm, I mean, for as long as this has been going on, and all the back and forth, and to finally, you know, see it through on the other side, you know, Brad and everybody at XRP, hats off to you, because I know being tied up in something like this, as long as they have the cost of it, etc., is just miserable. So thankfully, there was finally some light at the end of the tunnel. All right. So anyway, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit the like button. Don't forget that I'm also on Twitter at KIR Finance, where you can find me tweeting, retweeting. I got my website. A few other things are out there. And I'll be back around shortly, hopefully, for another new video once we got a few things going on here. Once this market picks up, you know, I could definitely start picking up these videos again, because we'll finally have something to talk about, right? So anyhow, that's it for today's video, and I'll catch you on the next one.